Hey everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this video, I'll be setting up a toy horse trailer to print. I decided to put this video together because there are quite a few different tools that I'll be using in this project. That includes the cut, scale, move, rotate, lay on face, assemble, merge, and objects mode, just to name a few. This will be an over-the-shoulder type of video, and I'll do my best to cut out all the slow parts to keep the learning at a steady pace. So let's get started. My daughter is really into Schleich horses, playing with horses. She wanted a trailer. We went to Colts 3D, purchased this trailer. It's supposed to be for a 124 scale horse, toy horse. After checking out the print, I printed it. Actually, I printed it stupidly, thinking that it was. And of course, it's way too small. So what we have to do is, one, I don't want to print the top and the bottom like this. I just want to put the model together so that it's one print. So that's going to be the first step. We're going to assemble it together. We're going to use all kinds of different tools that I mentioned in the introduction to the video. I'm going to cut out all the excess portions of the videos, and hopefully you can learn a lot of valuable information from this tutorial. So the first step, we're going to assemble these together. This is the top. It's going to go on top of this. So first, what we want to do is we want to assemble these two together. You can hold down Control on the keyboard, select your first model, then select your second model, or you hold Shift on the keyboard, select them both like that. Then we want to right-click on one of the models and merge them together. And what that does is over here, if you switch over to your Objects menu, it puts them into, basically it's called an assembly, but it's more like a group. So now these two models are grouped together. So, and what that reason why I'm doing that first is because group them together to be able to allow this model to come off of the build plate. So if you look, if I select them both right now and use the move tool, you'll see that they snap back down to the build plate. So what I'm going to do, if I select the top only and use the move tool, now you can see that the top floats, right? So what we're going to do, if I was to assemble these together, it will basically keep this portion of the model stuck to the build plate. And I'll show you an example of that. So what I want to do first, select the top. Since this is obviously upside down, let's go ahead and rotate that. Right? So now it's perfectly the right orientation to go right on top of this. So next step is we need to decide where we want to assemble these two models together. I picked vertice right here, this little corner, because it matches the model. It's got a corner right there, the exact same one to fit them together. That's the point of connection. Select your model, your little group, and then go up to assemble. Now, assemble has two different ways to do this. It has a face-to-face and point-to-point. I like to use the point-to-point. It just gives me a little more control. So the way it works is you select point-to-point, go to your model, and I'm going to select the vertice on this model first because what I want is to move this model here to move over to this one rather than the other way around. So it's just preference, I guess. So we're going to find this vertice corner right there. There's our first point. You can see shows up right there. I'm going to go to our other model, find the exact point of origin, basically where we want those two to be together. So we're going to basically marry this purple and this blue ball together. And as you can see, once I click 2 points, it gives me the distance of where we're at with these. So it's on the y-axis, we're at -84. On the z-axis, we're at -41. And then the x-axis, we're at 2. So what we want to do is we just start zeroing out these. So if you push 0, hit tab, moves over. Let's go with the x. It's going to shift slightly. As you can see, it shifted forward a little bit. And then now, if I do the z, 0, it's going to pull that point right up to the other one. Oops. And there you go. Our trailer is perfectly aligned and connected together. Now to get out of assembly, just push escape, 1, 2, and the third time gets you all the way out. So now you can see, barely can see the little line. When you print, you're not gonna see that. All right, so now that's step 1. Step 2, I know that the tallest horse that she has, her biggest stallion or whatever the horse is called, she knows all the names, not me, is 120 millimeters tall. So we need to make sure that this space here in the trailer is 122 millimeters tall. So the way we do that, click on our model, use our measuring tool. Same kind of concept. We want to check the distance between this bar going across and obviously the bar going across here. Gives us a distance. We're at 51 millimeters. So we're basically half the size of what we want to be at. So I know we need to at least go up 100%. So, or we want to go up to 200%, sorry. So when we use our scale tool, I think what we need to do is just test it out. I'm going to click on my model, push S on the keyboard. We're going to scale this guy up. Let's go. I want to say 235%. And the reason why I'm doing 235% is because I tested this before. So 235%. Now we can't print on this build plate, so that's another problem. Let's go ahead, exit out of scale. Let's check the distance again. $120. So we should be good to go with that distance. I believe that her tallest one is like 118. So it'll barely fit, but it is her tallest horse. And now that we've increased the size, there's a lot more horses that can fit in there. So I think she'll be able to fit probably 4 in there. And these are like stallions. So some of them are large. She has baby horses too. She calls them fowls or whatever they're called. But so that's that. So now we have a little bit of an issue here. Can't print it. It's way too big. Oop, let's get out of this. My original thought was I would try to place it on the back, but it's still too tall because the bamboo build plate is 256 cubed, basically. So our next option would be to either print it on a bigger printer, like the Elegoo Neptune Max 4 Max. It has a bigger plate and it would fit perfectly fine. Unfortunately, I do not have one of those just yet. We will see here soon. But for now, I think the best way to do it would be to cut out probably 2 windows. Maybe it might just fit if I cut one out. If I cut just one window out over here in this section, it's not going to affect any of the other parts of the model. Also, let's go ahead and take notes while we're here. I like to do this for note taking. Right click, cube. It's going to scale this thing. A little flat surface. And then let's go ahead and add some text on here. I want to add 235% scale. Too big. And this is kind of silly, but I can always just write it down, but I would like you guys to be able to see it too. So let's change the text so you can read it. I did that quickly by selecting. If you didn't know how I did that, you just select it here and it selects the text that I just created. I pushed 2 on the keyboard since I have different filament colors here. So the background is 1, and then I just changed it to 2. You just push 2 on the keyboard and it will change it. So if I push 3, you can change it, 4, right? So this is a note, 235% scale. I'll add other notes in here as we move along. That way, because we have to increase the size of the doors and everything like that. So everything needs to be increased. But for now, let's go ahead and use the cut tool. So we've used the assemble tool, the group. We created an assemble. We use the assemble tool to pull these together as a model. We use the measuring tool. And I just used the text tool, which I didn't really go too far into it, but cut tool now. So the way the cut tool works, if you've never used it before, you've got 2 different pieces. Basically what it's going to do is when you perform your cut, it's going to bring these into two different pieces. These coordinate with the colors that are on the screen. So this, if I say keep orientation, it's not going to change the orientation of this. If I say place it on the cut, it's basically going to jump off and go right here on the build plate. It's just going to take it off and move it. Or I can flip it and it will flip the model onto the top like it was basically almost originally. So keep orientation. We need to rotate this up because the cut plane is in the wrong direction. So using the rotate basically tool, you go on the inside of the wheel and it'll snap just like that. So 90 degree. Now the tricky part is actually picking the best spot to do this. I could, well, if I do this window here, because see how this window's got this little detail here on the end that we would lose, or I'd have to just basically be almost perfect. I want to go ahead, move this cut plane, and you do that with this box right here, just like this. So you can move it back and forth, basically. I think if we cut, it's a little difficult to see, but so I'm gonna leave this bar here and I'm gonna cut this bar out so that when they come back, when I assemble them back together, basically what I'm doing is I'm shortening this trailer, right? So we're gonna lose one window, it's gonna shorten it to be able to, so we can print it. So if you go, right now I'm on the front, we can go to the side view. The way you can see where they're all at is under view. You have top, bottom, front, rear, left, right. So let's go. So there's our left. Let's just let's use a shortcut. So control 1. There's the top view. Control 2. Bottom, side. That's probably front. Because it's got it. Yeah, the front of the build plate. So control 3 is the front view. And this basically gives you an exact where the cut's going to be on the model. Oops. Now if it'll allow me to select it, yeah, that's the problem that I'm going to hit. It doesn't like to let you select it. So you kind of have to see if it would highlight if I was able to select it, but it's not letting me select it. Even if I zoom, I have to like move out of front view. So I want to keep that window. So I'm a slight. Okay. Right there. And I can adjust it. Let me see, can I adjust it? Right there. Perfect. So that'll be our first cut right there. So keeping the orientation, so I don't want this trailer to move around or anything like that. Keeping it, and then just perform the cut. This is basically it's trying to fix the model. You can just push cancel for now. So that didn't do what we wanted. So let's go ahead and undo it real quick. I'm going to show you another another method. Oops, push Control X on accident. So to fix that, let's go back to the cut tool. Get it back into position. We're going to move it. Try to get it perfect as I can. Cut to parts. This will keep it in place. So it's not going to move it. It's just going to basically, like you're taking a samurai sword and just slicing right through it. So perform cut. Now we have two different parts. Yep, as you can see over here. So we have two bottoms, two tops, because we sliced it. So now let's go ahead and we want to select the whole assembly, cut again, rotate this plane, and we want to do the same kind of concept that we did, except on the outside of this window here. Perform the cut with cut to parts. We're just going to slice it with a samurai sword. I mean, that's the only way I can think about that. So, all right. So now we got to remove the intersection and pull them together. So let's do that real quick. So there's the intersection that I cut. One of them, the bottom, delete. Top, find that one, delete. Perfect. Now, of course, we're going to do the same thing we just did earlier. Assemble, point to point. Let's find our spots. Obviously, we can just pick a, I mean, not obviously, because sometimes they don't really work that way, but let's see if there's any better. Oh, we can do these two corners. So we want this corner and this corner to come together, right? We can do these. That'd be actually a better one. These are like weird and sometimes it'll shift, so I'm just gonna stay away from those. If I can get to it. I think it's that one. This one. Yep. As you can see, everything else is lined up. Okay. There was the bottom. Let's do the top. Just go out. Pushing escape on the keyboard. And let's do the same thing. Find a nice corner, like, believe that. There we go. 0. Done. Look at that. Now it's basically the same trailer. We haven't adjusted anything else. The doors aren't adjusted from the cut. Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead. Can we print this now? That's the question. Even with us taking out that window, it's still too short. Let's go ahead and go. We can go all the way back before our cuts. Okay. We're going to do both windows this time. 3 escapes to get out. There we go. Now, is this gonna fit? Oh, this trailer, man. No, it's not. Not currently. Let's see. Let's see what happens if we print it like that. Ah, almost. That would have been a great way to print it too, because there would have been minimal tree supports. It's too tall, so that's not going to work. By the way, I was using the lay on face tool. It's right here. When you click it, It shows all the different faces that you can place onto the build plate. So obviously I wanted to place it on this flat, big old flat surface. So I click that and it automatically rotates it so that it's flat. A lot of good surface bed adhesion right there. But unfortunately, still too small. These horses, man. I wonder if we take off more here. We could take off more here, more here. Shrink it even more. That probably, because as you can see, that's all the space that we need is right there. And I think we can get it out of here. So what I should have done on the last cut was cut it all the way almost to the door, and that would have been perfect. Let's just go ahead and we got a cut already going right here. So let's go ahead and give it one more cut. I want to make sure it's going to have plenty, so we'll be good. Let's go perform cut. It's just trying to fix all the parts. Push the wrong button. Okay. And we should have this little ring. As you can see, there's two. It's like a little band around it. And there we go. We have the shortest horse trailer in the world. Now, can we print? I would rather it print. Obviously, we don't want to print like this because we have this huge flat overhang surface right here. Unless you wanted to really test your overhangs. So we want to do lay on face. All right, let's go ahead and move on and get this project completed. After laying it on face, you could see there's just this little sliver right here. Not a big deal. I'm just going to clip that off with the cut tool again. I've already printed it, and to be honest, the back is kind of wonky looking. It's just way too flat. So adding this little detail right here after I clip that off was actually going to be a good addition. So cut tool again, bring this up. Let's go angle it a little bit more, bring it up. And that should give us plenty right there. I'm just going to cut a little bit more. Okay. Place on, so it's going to place this one. It's just going to cut it and lay it on the build plate. You can see that little piece that I cut off right there. And now we have that little clipped off. Perfect. So the trailer is a fifth wheel trailer. So this is the front of the trailer right here. So this part, it gets glued to this here. I mean, it would really be awesome once I get a larger printer like the Neptune 4 Max, is just connect it on here so I can print this whole thing in one swoop and maybe just lay it on its back here. That would be pretty great. Then I wouldn't have to glue that in. But once, as you can see, the angle here, it fits basically tucked inside right here real good. So, I mean, gluing it is not that big of a deal. You got the hitch right here. These all need to be resized. You got the hitch right here that goes right into there. And then that basically connects to whatever you're going to tow it with. I think she's got some tractors, and she's probably going to make me print a truck for her. I don't know. All right, let's do one more thing. I'm going to actually lay it on back down. I want to see how well these doors are fitting, because when I scaled these before and tried to print them, the doors seemed like they were a little too small. Yeah. I mean, you can see right there, even at 235%, it just isn't fitting. It's like it has a big old gap here. Let me rotate this guy up. So move this out of the way so we can see it. So you can see the gap. I mean, obviously I got to move it up. If I merge these two together, let's select both, hold shift on the keyboard, drag a box, right click, merge. Objects mode, let's just get the ramp. Move tool up. So let's see, I'm basically going to try and just stick it in its place where it needs to go up a little bit more. So, I mean, it's going to have a gap on the bottom here and on the top. So I think we need to increase the size on this. And I'm sure the doors are probably going to be the same. So I'm going to scale this. Oh, because it's at 230%. Let's go 235. Well, that still didn't really, I mean, it's better, but we can do a little bit better than that, I think. Let's do 245. That's probably going to be too tight, but that's basically what we want right there. I mean, that looks pretty good. So let's go like, let's do like 243. See what happens. I mean, once I start, so there's some space there, but I don't want it to be too wide. Scale. So let's just go with that. I can see a little bit of a gap here and here. I also don't have the printed cylinders. They're like, they go in here and they would go into the side. So I'm going to have to figure those out. But they're just cylinders. I could literally just, I think they're like 4mm cylinders and just create some and print them. And if they're too long, I can just cut them down. And all you do is you just slide them. You just slide them through here so they got a little bit sticking out. So let's go ahead and test. Let's go and test the doors. Well, I'll just leave the one door because it's going to be the same exact size. So I'll probably just leave it at that. 241. I think if we go any bigger, we're going to have issues with it fitting. So obviously the trailer ramp, it's got a little bit of space up at the top, which is probably on purpose so that when it folds up, it doesn't hit. But I think that's looking better. So 241 on the doors. So let's go in here. Change the color, click on it over here on the side, push whatever color you want the number. I push 1, it changes it to the dark color so we can read it. Nice in contrast. Back to laying on the face, and we're done. Print. All right, so it looks like we have a 20-hour print. We're using about 473 grams of filament, so about a half a roll per trailer. So that's good. We are printing it in one piece now. Before I was cutting it and printing it in two pieces and having to glue them together. This is definitely a better option. Go ahead and send this to the printer and see how it comes out. All right, so that concludes the tutorial. I hope that you guys learned a lot following along. We learned all kinds of different tools in Bambu Studio. We learned the assemble tool, the measuring tool, the lay on face, scale, rotate, all that stuff. I hope it was easy for you to follow along. And again, thank you for taking the time to upgrade your skills. I hope you have a great day, and as always, Happy printing.